Yeah. Yeah. Come and never sleep on me. Eyes on my chain 숙여 너의 고개를 what you looking at fool 너의 눈 허리 멍청했고 find your comfort from another yeah I go low like undercover yeah wanna know my name 죽지 않은 일은 위에 부어버려 기름 guess you can even guess me cause I'm baby high low로 확실해 not like maybe Devil let me welcome to my palace 찾지 않아 Alice you just keep on wonder You just keep on wonder 찾지 않아 Alice 버려 너의 memory I just pop a bin Danny have been 나는 걸어 Boeing 747 날개 위
Octopussy. Octopussy. What's up, everybody? Back once again with Octopussy. Colton, Caleb, welcome back.
Hey, baby, what's shaking with you?
So,
What's going on, guys?
Today we're going to talk about Octopussy. Roger Moore's next to last movie. So,
is that classified as penultimate? Is
yes.
that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Penultimate. Yeah, this is Roger Moore's penultimate Bond movie. So,
I have never heard that word.
Dude,
really?
I heard that word in a Power Rangers YouTube series.
Huh.
You're welcome.
So,
Anyway.
what do we think about Octopussy, boys?
It gets a pass for me. I was not given how utterly ridiculous the name of this film was, I was expecting Moonraker 2. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. So
yeah, dude, I did too. It's like I was telling Jonathan before the podcast. This might be my top 5, and I had a preconceived notion based on the title, like you did. I was like, Octopussy. This has got to be like a straight up spoof type of movie, and it wasn't. It was really good.
So I feel like, I don't know if I've talked about it. I feel like I've been on a journey with Octopussy. Octopussy and Diamonds Are Forever used to be like my literal, like just bottom of the barrel whenever I was a kid. Like I remember.
Really?
Yes, I remember for some reason whenever I was a little boy, I didn't like Octopussy. I would watch it, but it wasn't like one that I was like big into. In the past, probably 5 years, I've changed a little bit the way I look at things. I love Octopussy.
Yeah, I said really like I was surprised, but I was the same way. I think I might have watched this twice when I was a kid, and both times all I ever took from it was Bond swinging through the jungle, like Tarzan, and then Bond dressed up as a clown. But if you actually sit down and watch those scenes, maybe not the Tarzan scene, but like the clown scene in particular, if you watch that with context, it's fine. Yeah, maybe he did choose a really bad disguise in that scene, but it makes sense with the rest of the movie.
So I'm just gonna say, I do believe Octopussy is one of the like more complex, like it's a Cold War movie. You know, we got the Soviet Union, we got some rogue Soviet general who's trying to heat up the Cold War. I like it. We got the whole MacGuffin of the egg, kind of a Hitchcock vibe to it, in my opinion. I mean, Octopussy, I think it's one of the most Hitchcockian of Bond movies. It and From Russia with Love, I'd probably say. But yeah, I do believe that I went on a big journey with this one. And just to say this, if I'm ever like, sometimes you put a Bond movie on, just have his background noise, or maybe if you're just like, it's Sunday afternoon, you got the day off, you're just chilling at the house watching a Bond movie, Diamonds Are Forever or Octopussy or maybe Tomorrow Never Dies are frequently I put on, just to relax too.
Well, I can see that with Octopussy, but I think it's also a movie that, like, maybe if you if you're in the mood to sit and invest
Yes.
some some of your attention.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, and that's one of the biggest takeaways for me is the fact that there's actually some complexity here.
Yeah.
There's not one overarching villain. You might argue that it's Kamal Khan, but really you got three different villains in this movie that I would say kind of all coordinating and working together. I guess really the main villain would be Orlov.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But there are layers to the plot. So
And I want to say this too. And I know we've talked about this in the past few episodes, but I feel like Octopussy is by far the most Indiana Jones Bond movie. Like it's a good adventure movie too. You know what I mean? Like
it really is. Yeah.
like I don't know, like I just always kind of associated this movie with like, one of the indie movies like Temple of Doom, because I guess maybe because the India connection, and just because they're kind of like adventure-y, pulpy moments.
There are some Indiana Jones themes, I guess you could say. But I'll tell you another one big takeaway for me is about three-quarters of the way through the movie, I thought, wow, we're actually seeing Roger Moore's James Bond do a lot of secret agent shit in this movie.
Yeah.
And among all the globe trotting, he's actually doing some espionage stuff, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
It was definitely a highlight in this film that I wasn't expecting. I'd like to say to John's Indiana Jones comment, like I did get big indie vibes in this movie, but like the one indie thing, the indie-esque thing I was missing was that like that slowed down 007 thing, man. Like if that had been in this movie at like one or two part, like maybe during the plane sequence at the end, I think I would have enjoyed that. Like if the slowed down version, not the bombastic original version.
I know what you mean.
The bombastic version.
I know it is, dude.
I
But
like honestly, man, I like both of them. But there is a track that plays whenever is it Gishka, one of the twins, is chasing Bond after they fall off the train. He chases Bond through the woods, and there's a track that plays. It's not the 007 theme, but it's sort of in the same sort of vein. And it's used multiple times in this movie, and I think this is the only instance we get of that track in the series. But it just kind of had the same effect as the 007 would, a 007 theme would, I think.
no, that's fair. That makes sense. That's a really high anxiety scene anyway. Like you're really like they're I'm losing all my colorful words right now. Like
Well,
I can't articulate my sentence, but I know what I'm trying to say. But
I think what you might be trying to get at is the 007 theme might not have fit that sequence as well as the track that it chose.
well, maybe the slowed down version might have. But
Yeah.
I think the track they chose worked well to set like the thing I like about this movie is like for a good 3/4 of the film, it is like Roger Moore's Bond in the most like perilous situation. We've seen him in some perilous situations, but like half this movie, he is just like in duress like the whole time. Like you think Roger Moore's Bond is gonna die for most of this movie.
I said something in The Spy Who Loved Me when they're fighting Jaws at that temple, and I was like, yeah, Roger Moore is being a little too cool here. Y'all know which part I'm talking about?
Yes.
Where they're in the van and
Yeah.
Bond is just making light jokes and commentary about how she can't get the van in gear.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, sometimes Roger Moore is just a little too, he plays the suspenseful scenes a little too cool. I never got that feeling in this movie, and it was really refreshing that in these perilous scenes that Colton was alluding to, we never get Bond just wisecracking the whole time. He might have a one-liner here or there, but it never takes you out of the moment. Throughout these perilous and suspenseful scenes, you've got that suspenseful feeling, and the tension is never broken up by Bond saying some goofy shit. So
he definitely cut through it with that car riding on two wheels though. Like I was waiting on some slide whistle.
All right, so I want to say this. One thing I want to say this before I forget it. Roger Moore wasn't even originally supposed to be in this movie.
No kidding.
Supposed to be this guy named James Brolin, and you can on the Octopussy Blu-ray, it's got Brolin like his auditions in it.
Yeah, I remember that now. Oh my gosh!
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think dude actually could have done a pretty good job, but of course, I wouldn't take Roger Moore's. I wouldn't take it away just for that, you know. But still,
I want to see that interview. Like, I'll watch it as soon as we're done with this. Like,
it's a screen test, is what it is.
It's a screen test, yeah.
I've got it right here.
But yeah, but the reason why Roger Moore's in this is because at the same time this is happening, we've got Kevin McClory, the dude that wrote Thunderball. I mean, the dude that owns Thunderball. He was trying to make his own, Bond movie, Never Say Never Again.
Which didn't it release the same? Didn't it release the same year as this?
Yes, same year.
Yeah.
So, Never Say Never Again, of course, had Sean Connery coming back. So Cubby Broccoli's like, well, what are we going to do? We got to get Roger Moore back because we know people will go and watch it.
Roger Moore.
Yeah. So they got Roger Moore back, and Never Say Never Again did pretty good, but still, this movie beat it out.
It probably would not have done as well, Octopussy, that is, if they had gone with a different actor. Yeah. Because people back then weren't as plugged into who has the rights to the canonical series and all that stuff. So they would assume, oh, well, this one's got Sean Connery in it, so
yeah,
this is the real Bond movie, and yeah,
that's the real Bond.
If they had recast Bond, that guy probably would have got all the backlash that Timothy Dalton got.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and start it out. We've already talked about this first scene a little bit. We got the clown running, and we got the guys with the knives. We got the brothers chasing this guy. So kind of a little suspenseful first little bit. What do you think about it, Colton?
So the movie opens, and I've seen stills from this movie where Roger Moore is in a clown suit. So the movie opens, and I think it's Roger Moore. And it doesn't help that the stunt actor for 009 looks like Roger Moore. I thought it was Roger Moore. And you got the clown running through the woods getting chased by the two Jonas Brother looking dudes. And and they're trying to kill him. And then whenever the knife sinks into his back, I'm like, dude, they just killed James Bond. And no matter how many times I watch a James Bond movie where James Bond dies in the opening of the James Bond movie, I'm still startled. I don't know what
now you can't be too careful. See, back before No Time to Die, you can assume that, oh, he's fine, but now it's is he?
Yeah.
Right.
For real.
You're right.
But yeah, I really do like this start. Actually, hold up. We skipped the whole scene. We skipped the whole first the pre-title scene.
Oh yeah. We're talking about
let's go back to that. I really do like this. This is awesome,
Oh, you're right. For some reason I was thinking this was the pre-title sequence.
No.
Yeah.
We got it mixed up. But anyway,
yeah.
Trailer.
It was so weird seeing him pull a horse trailer. I was so confused.
It was like Roger Moore was in Savannah, Tennessee for a little bit.
Like I live like from here to there from the sailboat, like, or I did. We moved, but man, like it literally, like I was so confused. But when he gets out of the vehicle and starts flipping his uniform inside out, his hat inside out,
classic
I love
Bond.
That is Bond. You were right, Caleb.
Classic Bond moment.
I love it. We don't see enough of that anymore.
So what about the Acrostar?
Is that the jet?
Yes.
That blows little Nelly out of the water.
Oh, very nice, Jonathan.
I want one of those.
That is awesome. Yeah, I love this whole pre-title sequence from beginning to end. We get another example of one of Bond's disguises not working. Which is pretty.
It wasn't the disguise's fault. It was the fact that they didn't check to make sure Miss Senor Toro or whatever his name was wasn't there.
Did you say Toro?
Whatever his name was.
Sounds like a load of bull. But
like, you know, what I thought was funny was whenever dude came up, you know, and found him out, Roger Moore, he says, "You're a Toro too."
Small world.
Small world.
As you do.
But the whole sequence of so he releases the trailer from the hitch from the Range Rover and gets in the plane, takes off. This whole sequence of him being chased by that heat-seeking missile and then flying through the hangar and then the hangar blowing up. You guys probably know this, but for the audience's benefit, if you guys are listening and you have seen this movie and know which scene I'm talking about, that hangar blowing up was a miniature with, I think there's a few shots with maybe some forced perspective going on to, you know, to blend the practical elements with the you know, to make everything mesh together. And that all that is done really well.
Yeah, I didn't put that much thought into it. Like
the only reason I know that is because I watched the behind the scenes, the making of this movie a long time ago when I was a kid, and I remember when they explained how they achieved that scene, it really stuck out to me because I was like, wow, like that is so, it's just so convincing.
Yeah.
So
this is one
the
of
other day when I watched
title sequences.
Sorry, John, I didn't mean to.
I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead.
Well, no, like I think I talked over what you're saying. So,
I just said it was one of my favorite pre-title sequences.
Dude, it's up there for mine because like this is some of the most action-packed openings one of the most action-packed openings we've had. Like after he gets in the jet, like that is really cooler than I expected Roger Moore's Bond to really ever be. If that makes sense.
No, I completely agree. I know I've said this half a dozen times at this point, but like the last time I watched this movie, I was a little kid, and I do not remember this scene being this action-packed and this cool. There's a lot of this movie that had that sort of effect on me. Like, wow, I don't remember all this being this cool.
Like, I if I had seen this as a kid or whatever, like, it probably wouldn't have hit me as cool as it was now. But like, this is like the coolest openings for me that I've seen so far. Is like when they're skydiving and stuff like that. And so like for us to get like a jet sequence in the beginning of the movie, it's not even like a main plot point of the movie. I was honestly, this is probably my favorite part of the movie.
I love the cold opens of Bond movies. I love when the pre-title sequence is just a throwaway scene that has nothing to do with the rest of the plot. For whatever reason, it's like we get a little appetizer before the main course.
Well, if you think about it in context, like not to cut you off.
No,
think
go ahead.
About it in context, Bond to the Hispanic or
I think they're Cuban,
Spanish,
right?
She might have been Cuban. He says to the girl, he's like, I'll see you in Miami. Like, whenever the regular part of the movie opens, like he's not in Miami. Like,
I think he was just lying to get away from her.
I mean, maybe.
No, I'm kidding.
You whenever remind me when we get to Q about. I want to say something about Q's globe trotting.
Okay.
Please.
And then this scene ends with Roger rolling up or Bond rolling up to the gas station. He says, "Fill her up, please."
What else do you do?
What would you say, Jonathan?
What about the song?
Real quick, I want to say something about one last thing about the jet. The most impressive thing about that jet is not not the design or the stunts that they did with it or whatever. If that jet actually runs on gasoline, then MI6 has has worked some kind of miracle for that jet to be engineered in such a fashion that it can run on regular gasoline. So that's
Q would probably say something to the effect of, "What else would you want it to run on 007?
Probably.
Petrol is the most easily readily available fuel."
Yeah.
Like,
Or it could be maybe that's why we run out of fuel so quick because gasoline is so
burns
combustible.
so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Because that did stick out to me after he blows up the hangar. He's flying off. Oh, and here's another thing. Why does that jet that was made for a spy? Why does it leave a smoke trail? Like, is that like a is that a switch in the cab? It's like smoke trail because he's obviously doing it for the people on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's
If you look at how small it is, I'm honestly surprised Roger Moore fits in it.
yeah, it is really tiny, but like the fact that it fit in the horse trailer and it's got the fold up wings and all that stuff, all that is just really cool.
That horse trailer has to be bigger.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like sometimes I gripe about how a lot of these gadgets or these vehicles just draw attention to Bond, but in this case, I don't really mind because it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So, what do you think about the song?
In the words of the famous Randy Jackson, it's gonna be a no for me, dog.
I'm not crazy about it, but I didn't hate it. Like
That's the way I feel. It's just kind of it's just there,
yeah,
It's
and
bland.
I've said that I wouldn't even describe it as bland. I would put it a notch above that, maybe, but it probably wouldn't make my top 10.
No, it wouldn't make my top 10, but it's all right. It's just there. I mean,
The only redeeming quality this song has is how they use it in instrumentals in later scenes in the movie. Like I think the music is better than the lyrics were written for. Like
the instrumental is
the lyrics just don't like what's being at an all-time high got to do with beautiful
Octopussy.
women, circuses, blowing up East Berlin. Like
I think the best part of this song is the fact that they did not try to include the title Octopussy in it because I can see that making for a pretty terrible song.
I agree. Agreed.
no comment. Before we dive deep into this movie, I would like to say that I really like how this movie is like kind of a follow-up to the book.
Yes, I do too. And Colton, man, I love it that you've read the books now and I think that is so awesome, man. Yes.
I was watching this movie and I was like, damn, they did this so good because it's like if you read the book, you know who she is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of what happened in the book.
Yes,
so
I'm very proud of you right now.
And also, like, part of the movie is a property of a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was great, too, because I read that one. And, like, I don't know. The inclusion of both of those things in this movie made it, like, way higher for me than I think it would have been had I not read those books.
Yes.
So I appreciate it way more.
And you know what? I can I just think it's cool that you like went into the movie and you're spotting these things because, dude, I watched this movie way before I read the books. Like, I mean, way before.
Well, I think it's just because I wanted to read The Living Daylights so bad. I just
Yeah.
read Octopussy and The Property of a Lady. But I'm so glad that I did because it's so cool just connecting the dots, like it made looking for small stuff in the movie more fun.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed it.
So we pretty much already talked about the whole clown chase. Of course, we got the Fabergé egg winding up in at the British diplomat's house, and so that flashes forward to Robert Brown's new M with the Fabergé egg, and Bond is there at M's office. So anything to say about Robert Brown's M, fellas?
I love him.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah,
He's about as good as you can get after Bernard Lee, honestly.
Yes, I agree. I don't feel like people really talk about Robert Brown's M hardly ever.
Yeah.
I was very happy to see in No Time to Die, that one
The
scene,
portrait.
his picture. Loved that. That was
I did love that, but honestly, it just made me more confused about the continuity.
oh yeah. Don't even worry about that.
I know. I'm joking. Yeah.
But yeah, this I don't know, this is just your quintessential Roger Moore M scene. You know what I mean?
Yep. M asking him if he knows something about this niche subject, and then Roger spouting off. You know what I think Roger does? He asks Moneypenny the night before, like, "Hey, what's my next assignment?" So I can go home and Google it and impress him.
She's like, 007, you're such a kiss up. Here you go.
007, Google hasn't been invented yet. You're gonna have to go to the local library.
So let me ask you this, and I think we might have touched on this in a past video. Do you guys think Robert Brown's M is the same M as Bernard Lee's, or what? What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think he is for me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Honest to goodness, I really think the series is just trying to swap actors just like they do with Bond.
Yeah.
But in my head canon, this is the same character from The Spy Who Loved Me.
In mine, it is too.
As long as they never refer to him as, what's M's name?
Miles Messer.
Miles. Yes, as long as they never refer to this M as Miles, then my head canon makes sense.
So Caleb, I want to mess with your head canon a little bit if you got a second.
I don't.
Okay. So
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, so in two later movies, and also in this movie, you have Robert Brown's version of M. Did you notice the way he looked longingly as he left 007 when 007 went into the non-American sector? He left the American sector and went to East Berlin or wherever it was.
I'm trying to think.
Robert Brown, I'm getting these vibes from Robert Brown that he looks at 007 like a son or a brother.
Yeah, I get that, and I just choose to ignore that.
Okay,
I'm just kidding. No, yeah, well, that's why I said I'm pretty sure the series is just hoping that we'll assume that this is the same. But that's why I said as long as they don't refer to this M as Miles, then it doesn't matter. It's such a small thing.
It is,
but
it's not a big deal.
But no, I do get what you're saying, and I guess I'm on board with both schools of thought. Honestly,
yeah. It's not too much of a stretch to look at it like your way or my way. I don't think it's
not.
I like pointing out the subtleties in the emotion that we're getting out of this character and the very limited amount of screen time we get with him.
Yeah, no, that's a worthy thing to point out, because I think this is a character, regardless of who it's played by. It's supposed to be really reserved and it's not supposed to show any emotion. So when we do get those hints of humanity, it's interesting.
Yeah. I agree.
So
What's next on the agenda?
I would like to point out how somebody calls out 007 for liking eggs in this movie.
Wait, what now?
So I don't remember if it wasn't Bill Tanner in this movie. It was the other guy that was in the room with I don't remember.
Are you talking about the Minister of Defense?
It might have been the Minister of Defense, but he's like, maybe it was Frederick Gray. He's like, you'll get the kick out of this 007. I know you like eggs or something. And I was like, you know what? 007 does like eggs.
Scrambled.
Scrambled.
To be exact.
Not stirred.
Do y'all scrambled, not stirred? Oh my god!
Good job, Colton.
Do y'all want to talk about Moneypenny's assistant?
Oh yeah, Penelope Smallbone,
and how MI6 apparently only accepts applications from women with the most obscure names. Apparently,
so she was supposed to come back for a few movies.
I
never
kind of figured that's why she was in this movie. I thought they were sort of setting her up to be Moneypenny's replacement, though. I did know that, like, yeah, she's not in any other movie, I don't think.
Yeah.
I didn't mind her. I thought the interaction was funny.
Yeah, it was. I got a chuckle out of it, but my main takeaway from that scene was her name. Like, what is it with MI6 and these names?
Well, I just thought it was dirty.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, I know that it's like obvious. The obvious thing's obvious, but like it's really dirty considering all the things.
But so we go to India. So Bond's there. He meets up with his contact VJ, which is one of my favorite Bond allies. I really like this guy.
I do too.
And he's of course a tennis player. But
wait, so like he was a professional tennis player?
Yes.
Oh, well that explains that stupid gag in the taxi chase.
Yes,
it makes so much more sense now. Okay.
He's not a professional tennis player anymore, Caleb. He died during the film of this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they killed him by the lakeside.
I remember that now. R.I.P. VJ.
It was Kamal Khan's men.
Yep. Oh, Yo-Yo Saul got him.
Anyway.
What do you guys think about him playing the James Bond theme and that getting James Bond's attention? Does James Bond know that he has a theme song? Is that what we're supposed to take from this?
My headcanon is that he just hums it in his head the whole time. That's what we're
when he's doing something cool, that's how he keeps himself calm. Like when he's like nervous or sneaking around. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god!
I liked the code words, like ask him if he takes American currency or not American currency. What was it, British currency or something? He's like only gold sovereigns. I forget how it was said, but like I love those little interactions.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like snakes. I don't know.
Neither does he. He even says he picked the wrong cover. He hates snakes.
I hate snakes.
but I really want to hear y'all's opinions. Like, what do y'all think of that? Like, is that okay or is that not okay?
I mean, dude,
I don't know how to feel.
It's fine with me. I mean, like, dude, it's a Roger Moore movie. Where the franchise was at this time. Hey, I like it. It's cute.
Yeah. I did not know how to feel about it, so I was like, I'm gonna ask them, and then I'm just gonna base my opinion solely on theirs.
Well, I feel
Caleb.
Can I like it? Is what I'm asking.
Let me put it to you like this: do you like it in the Raimi movies whenever they're singing Spider-Man?
No, I don't.
You don't like that?
Nah, I think it's stupid.
Man, that's one of my favorite parts of Raimi.
No, I don't mind it. I guess Honestly, I guess I feel the same about that as I do him playing the Bond theme.
Then I think you're fine, man. If you enjoy it, that's all that matters.
Taylor, does James Bond know he has a theme song?
That's the question. That like it doesn't matter. This is such a stupid thing to dwell on. But it just did seem a little odd to me.
So we get Bond going to this casino, and how this dude that's gambling, they're playing backgammon, but like
Yes,
they're gambling, and like how this one guy does not realize that the dude got loaded dice.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, how oblivious are you, dude?
Like seriously.
Yeah. How did we miss over the whole scene at the auction?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that was where we met Kamal Khan, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how we met.
Yep, you're right. I do love that part where Bond just keeps running the bid up. I honestly, I found myself thinking, I hope this keeps going.
Well,
I wanted it to reach just astronomical numbers.
Well,
I like how
knew that he had to buy it. Knew that
and that kind of leads me to this question. So I want to know if you guys picked up on something that I missed, perhaps. How does Bond get that impression? Like, how does he know that, okay, that guy has to buy it? Is it just because he was the first one to bid such a high offer? Or
I guess so.
Or maybe Bond just has a really good gauge on people.
On villains.
Yeah. But anyway, I like the scene a lot.
Didn't the person with him like point him out and say, "Hey, that's Kamal Khan. He's into that was like the operative that was with him, right? That knew about the
Fanning
and all that stuff."
Yeah, Fanning.
Yeah,
I knew all that, but like, I guess I just have to go back and rewatch it. I just remember thinking, okay, well, just because he's in the Fabergé eggs, like what? I don't know. But regardless of that, I mean, yeah, I do enjoy how Bond just, like I said, just keeps running the bid up, and Fanning looks at him like, what are you doing? It's like, with government funds, stop.
I like how mad MI6 gets when he gets back to headquarters.
Yeah,
and M is just like,
but like, what would you have done if you won it? That's
and Bond's like, I don't care. I don't pay taxes. It's not my money.
Well, Bond said I would have explained to him that it's a fake, and he's like, because this, this is the real one right here.
Yeah. Did you guys notice the guy that was sitting next to Bond as he swapped out the eggs watched him and obviously didn't snitch on him?
Yeah, he was the real OG right there.
For sure.
I have got to go back and watch that scene because I remember when Bond returns to MI6 and he's talking to him and he tells him how he swapped him out. I was thinking, like, when did he swap him out?
He sits it in his lap.
Obviously, I missed. Yeah, I must have just been looking at my phone or something because I missed that, and I really want to see that.
Well, he does it really smooth, but like there's like 1,000 people in that room. I don't know how he didn't get caught.
For real. Like,
also, this is the introduction to the female. I don't remember her name. Super attractive though.
Yeah.
What is her name? It's kind of odd.
I thought it was weird that she had the Octopussy tattoo also. Like,
well, she's in the cult.
Right. Do they all have the little Octopussy tattoo?
I kind of assumed that.
Because it wasn't touched on.
Yeah, so her name on IMDb is Magda.
Yeah, Magda. That's what it is.
Magda. Okay. See, when
She
Colton
gets an okay for me. A pass. I like her.
when Colton was asking of her name, that name popped into my head, and I was like, "Well, that can't be right." But yeah, it's Magda. So
Yeah, Magna.
I don't know.
But anyway, so like go back to India. So what do you think about the whole backgammon scene?
I thought it was. Is it backgammon? Is that what they're playing?
Yeah,
Pretty sure. Yeah.
that's
Okay.
what it is.
Man, for some reason I thought backgammon was like some kind of other game. Like I wasn't paying attention to what they were. I didn't know what that game was called. So thank you, John. Uh, I thought that like the guy he was playing with was really really stupid because
Yes.
Bond was watching him sit there and cheat.
Yeah.
Like, and then Bond sat down and like I thought it was cold as hell. And he's like, I forget exactly how he worded it, but he's like dealer's luck or something. Whenever he took his dice, I was like, oh,
Player's
man.
privilege
That
is
was
what he says.
What?
Mhm.
Player's privilege is what he says.
Player's privilege. I was like, man, that was so he ballsed up on that guy. I was like, you go, Roger.
Well, the thing is that guy just had to be the stupidest person
With money.
in the casino because look, Bond is intelligent, obviously, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out within like the first few times you play backgammon with this guy, he's cheating.
Yeah.
You know, so
May I just say that I loved seeing Roger Moore in his dinner jacket.
mhm.
It was great.
Yep.
It was. We haven't seen him in a white dinner jacket yet, have we?
No.
Is this the only time?
I think he wears one in A View to a Kill. I think.
I still haven't seen that one. So
I think he does. I don't know. I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I do believe this is the first time we see him in the
Yeah,
white
this is the first time I've
tux.
seen him.
Yeah, he looks great in it.
well, seeing Bonds in the white tux is one of my favorite things. So this really stuck for me. I thought it was great. So
Yeah, it's a-
whenever you see them spoof Bond in cartoons or whatever, that's how they portray Bond. It's always in the white tux.
that makes sense.
That's kind of like his signature thing, you know.
Yep.
Like the white tux. Yeah, I'm a fan of the white dinner jacket quite a bit.
It looks so good, man. It's just like that's not something you're going to go out and do anything in because you're going to get it dirty as hell.
Oh yeah. Look, real quick, I do not like Spectre. I think it's a terrible movie, but when we got to see Craig in the white tux, that brought it up a little bit for me.
He looks really handsome in it. I'll give him that.
Yep. All right, we can move on.
Anyway, so what about the tuk chase?
Man, that was
You know, if you guys
it-
would watch the Indiana Jones movie, the newest one, there is a tuk chasing it, but y'all just won't watch it no matter how much I plead with you.
Jonathan.
No matter how much I beg, you won't watch it.
Jonathan, I have my indie DVDs somewhere. I think they're in the living room. I will sit down and watch. Was it the second one's what, Raiders?
The first one's Raiders.
The second one's Temple of Doom.
The second one's Temple of Doom, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
my bad. I watched Raiders a couple months ago. I'll watch Temple of Doom this week, and we can do our first. I'll rewatch the first two, and we can do an indie video some point this week if you want, John.
One of these days we will, man.
I like the tuk chase for the most part. There's a couple of gags that we could do without, but listen.
Get off my bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought as a kid, I thought that was so funny. Like you have
I will tell you the best part for me, like this whole maybe not the best part, but the gag that I enjoyed was when they go through that sign that's on that wall, and then the next sign just drops down in its place. It's so Looney Tunes like, but I just thought it was just it's a really simple thing that could very well be real, like that could work.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a cute thing. Yes.
What do you think about the guy? I don't know why I can't remember his name right now, but basically this movie's Odd Job. What do you think about him?
I love him. This
Me-
movie does henchman so well. For whatever reason, when I think of Bond henchman, it's obviously because I never watched this movie a lot when I was a kid. But um, when Bond henchmen are brought up, I don't know that this guy's ever mentioned, and he's a great henchman. I really like him. He's like really imposing, like
yes.
really maybe not as maybe I wouldn't describe him as like ominous in a Jaws sort of way. Like he doesn't have that sort of presence, but he's still like threatening looking. So
I would like to say that he's not an idiot, like the majority of them.
hey, that's a good point. That's one in his column. Because,
Also, I watched the entire film and I don't remember his name.
I don't think his name is ever mentioned because I've got it here. It's
Gabinda,
Gobinda.
that's what it is.
Well, I like Haji, and that's what I'm gonna go with. Probably because I'm a Johnny Quest fan, so we're just gonna keep rolling with that. Gabinga. I mean, I get why they didn't say that any in the movie. That must have come from like a movie novelization or something, or like a script.
I mean,
Like, where did they find out Gabinga if it's not in the movie?
I don't know.
did they not say it any in the movie?
I don't
I
think
did
so.
not hear it. No.
But
I would like to say that I loved when VJ said, it's a company vehicle.
oh yeah, Bond says we got company, no problem. This is a company vehicle, and then they pop a wheelie, and then I think there was like a slide whistle and maybe some applause from the live audience, and
yeah.
And then Christopher Reeves walked out of the crowd.
And then a freeze frame, and then
what
it's
about
narrators.
What
Okay,
about
I'm done. Go ahead.
tennis stuff?
Stupid.
It didn't stick with me.
Yeah,
The Bill and Ed's thing, the bed of nails thing stuck with me more, I think.
Stuck with him too.
Did you see how rubber it was?
Yes, I was gonna let that pass because I'm the one that is always like, did you guys see how fake that was? Ha ha. So I was gonna just I'm glad you brought it up, I guess. But yeah.
Let me put those pants on because that looked terrible.
What's that?
I said, well, let me put your pants on for today because that was terrible.
Yeah. Back then, watching it in the movie theater, the first time you watch it, it's such a quick shot. Nobody ever noticed it. I'm sitting here 6 inches away from my monitor, watching it in 4K, and so here I am feeling special when I catch stuff like that. When in reality, it's like I was never supposed to notice that stuff to begin with.
Yeah.
Nobody was. So
yes. So, all throughout this, the times in India, we're, learning more about Octopussy. And she's kind of like you don't see her face for a while. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit almost like Blofeld used to be. We'd never see his face. For a while.
I thought that was really cool. I was really expecting Octopussy to be a real villain. Up until we got the reveal where she wasn't, and like she surprised me with this movie.
Well, I knew that it was Maud Adams, so when they were kind of leaving her face sort of ambiguous, I was like, so is this supposed to be the same character from The Man with the Golden Gun? It's not, but I think that would have been kind of cool if they had found a way to connect her to that character in that movie.
So I did not make the connection. Who was she in The Man with the Golden Gun?
She was
Scaramanga's wife.
Anders, Scaramanga's kept woman.
Oh yeah, I said wife, But yeah.
Dude, I don't even remember that. Like, she stuck out in this movie more than she stuck out in that one, I guess.
Oh yeah, well,
Yep.
she's the main Bond girl in this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will
She-
say that Maud Adams is by far Roger Moore's best Bond girl. Like, I mean, it just to me it seems
Yeah.
like they have good chemistry together. Like, you could actually
That-
see Bond, like, hey, I'm going to settle down with this woman and just like live in India
Yeah.
or travel the world.
Sort of in the same way. In For Your Eyes Only, Brosnan's wife. I can't remember the actress's name.
Yes.
But yeah, I sort of got the same vibe
Yes.
here with Maud Adams.
Agreed.
So I'll say that, like, I get where you're coming from saying that, like, she fits him good. And, like, maybe it's because they're on the same level, like, skill and experience wise. Man, my favorite's still going to be Solitaire, though.
That's fair. I think we all like Solitaire.
I love Solitaire.
I just don't know how to play it.
Me either. I think I'm not good at it.
Let's go. Let's move on.
No, I mean, like, I'm not good at it. I'm terrible at card games.
I am too.
So, what do you think about the way Bond gets into Solitaire, Octopussy's Island?
Uh,
The alligator
suit.
outfit, whatever that thing is, alligator submarine.
Yes, alligator submarine is what I was gonna say. That is the most ridiculous
It is
idea
ridiculous.
for a gadget.
But man, how else do you do it? Because the next time they use a hot air balloon,
Oh my god, I hate the hot air balloon. That was
well,
ridiculous.
we'll talk about that. I'll take this alligator over that damn gondola. Honestly, seriously.
Hey, I love the hovercraft gondola now.
Well, the alligator is just so much more discreet. The gondola screams, "Hey, look at me!
Yeah.
I'm a secret agent."
You're right.
But I like it. As ridiculous as it is, I like it.
I thought it was really cool. It gets a
Yeah.
pass from me.
It always reminds me of a Metal Gear Solid game, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. There's a thing you can get, and it's called a croc, like a croc hat or something like that. And it's like a crocodile's like snout, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And you could like get in the water and be disguised as a crocodile in the water. Like, it always reminded me of Octopussy. Like,
Colton, is this the part where you wanted me to remind you of Q's globetrotting?
All right, fellas. Listen. A few videos ago.
He took off his glasses. I don't know.
A few videos ago, I said that James Bond was just a cover to go out and like make waves so Q could do the real secret agent stuff. This movie just further cements the fact that like Q is on location at all times. Like, I really think like
yes, I was the one that was like, you know how Q just seemingly pops up out of nowhere when it's convenient. Q's there the whole time. I'm entirely on board with this theory.
Dude, we've seen him show up in the past. We saw him show up with Lil Nelly. We've seen him show up in several other films. In this movie, he's here for like a good third of the movie doing spy work. Like, he's sitting there watching out for Bond's back. Like,
while Bond's just fucking around with Maud Adams.
He's literally out there rolling in the hay. And
yes,
Q is out here fishing, but he's being vigilant. So obviously Q takes his job way more seriously than Bond does.
Yeah.
Which we knew that with his gadgets. But like, I'm saying it with his espionage. Like, Q's out here doing more secret agent shit than Bond.
Sounds to me that they could just take Bond off the payroll, and they would be maybe, I was gonna say just as well, but they might be better off. Just send Q.
Yeah. He knows how to use the equipment.
And he'll take care of it.
Yeah.
So what about Yo-Yo Saw guy? What do you think about that?
What the hell?
I love that weapon.
Dude,
How is that
one
practical?
day, one
It's
day,
not practical.
one
How
day,
does it
we will
work?
get on this podcast, and behind me will be that flipping yo-yo thing hanging on the wall. One day, it's gonna happen. Mark my
What's the next
words,
Bond
boys.
movie? What's
What?
the number of the next Bond movie coming out?
Bond 26.
Okay, when Bond 26 comes out, when we do the review for it, that better be on that wall, John.
Oh, good. All right. I had to find somebody custom make me a Octopussy yo-yo saw.
We could probably make it. But anyway, why is that a weapon he uses?
Hey, like I could see your dad doing it.
I mean, yeah.
I brought up that same point to my wife, Colton. I was like, everybody else in this part of the country has access to guns. Why don't these guys have guns? Why do they have to resort to
Swords
uh,
and
to
blades.
swords and yarn with a saw? But then I was thinking like, well, if they had guns, we wouldn't have this cool saw thing. So I give it a pass.
I get that these guys came from some shitty Bond villain hotline, and that's fine. But like, if you really spend too much time thinking about it like I did, like what is that guy out there doing in his free time when he's off on the weekends? He's just
They're
out
playing
there.
cards. They're playing cards. Yeah, they're
Playing
sitting there
cards and
playing cards.
drinking, man. That's all they do.
They're waiting for Kamal Khan to throw a bag of coins on the table. You know what? I found that hilarious when he throws when he says he throws that bag of coins on the table, and the leader of that group, that gang, is like, "We don't want to make war with the woman." He throws another bag of coins and he goes, "We want to make war with the woman."
It was funny. It was really funny. Like, what would have been even more funny is if the dude went and picked it up with his saw hand. Like,
Oh, the bag.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look, so I'm just imagining that guy with the yo-yo saw just be like training on the weekends, just like doing like an anime montage, him throwing that thing at trees and it getting stuck, and then
Or like
whipping it around.
or he's sitting there above those guys just trying, and they're trying to play cards, and they're like, "Dude, will you quit? Like for two, let us finish this game of Go Fish."
Fair enough, Caleb. Fair enough.
Oh shit! Y'all know y'all can just kick me off, right? Or just mute me.
No,
I'm just
hey, you're one of my favorite thirds of this podcast, Caleb.
one.
Yeah, because Jonathan's the other one.
So we like India Bond. What about West and East Berlin Bond? What about this part of the movie?
Caleb, you go first.
Where are we at?
I didn't want to say where we at. That's why I told you to go first.
Well, I feel like we're missing. So after VJ gets killed,
Yeah.
I was pissed, by the way.
yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Don't they infiltrate the palace? Octopussy's palace.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I didn't want to skip over it because I did want to mention how Roger Moore is actually doing the action sequences here. Did you guys notice that? Like,
He looks pretty good.
there is one shot in that fight scene where, so right after, okay, so him and Maud Adams are laying in bed. Him and Octopussy are in the bed. The guy drops the saw, but before that, it's still wet from them swimming. And that drop of water drops, and Bond's like, "Look out!" And they roll over. The saw drops, and then they commence this fight scene. There is one shot throughout this entire fight scene where that I noticed that it's a stunt double, and it's where they've got the rope around Bond's neck choking him, and he does that he runs up this column and kind of does a backflip, kind of like Jet Li or Jackie Chan, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's obviously not Roger Moore. But right after that, we get a scene of Bond like twisting the guy's arm. Maybe he like knees him in the stomach and then punches him in the face. That is Roger Moore performing that action in one take. And I thought that was so, like, even though that's not a huge thing for Roger Moore, it was like really cool to see him actually perform a stunt. And then they fall out of the window into fall into the water, and then yeah. That's all I wanted to say. I didn't want to let that go by.
Well, I'm glad you said something about it.
Yep.
So I was going to say something about the stunts in this film, but I'm obviously thinking about last week's movie because I distinctly remember seeing in the opening credits sequence Bob Simmons' name, but Bob worked on the last movie we watched, For Your Eyes Only.
Okay.
So Bob didn't work on this one. I'm sorry. I didn't have much to add about what you said either, Caleb. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry Bob didn't work on this one either. He's a great stuntman.
Yeah. Although I thought the stunt sequence was
Oh, they're fantastic.
I would like to have credited that to Bob. But it says that Martin Grace. Hold up.
He's
Maybe
the one that got Martin Grace is the one that got injured on the train.
Yeah.
Stunt.
I was trying to see who was in charge of doing them.
Like the second unit director, maybe.
Yeah, it's just not saying anything. It wasn't Bob.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. I'm sorry, guys.
But Jonathan, you were saying something about them in East Berlin. Is that right?
Yeah. So what about whenever Bond knows he's got to go and like he's got to go stop the bomb?
Mm-hmm.
So what about whenever he's trying to get a ride?
Yeah, that was funny. Where he
Well, I actually I want to go back on something. What about him killing the guy, the knife thrower guy?
Okay, so my thing, I must have been on my phone or something. I saw them fighting. Next thing I know, the other knife throwing guy's gone and Bond's wearing his clothes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I think where he actually dies is where Bond kicks the lever on the cannon, and I think when it falls, doesn't that kill him?
Yeah, it breaks his neck or something, right?
Yeah, and Bond puts him in the cannon.
Yeah.
I do like how Bond. This is kind of what I was talking about when I was like, we're actually seeing Roger Moore's Bond do some secret agent stuff. Yeah. Every time he kills somebody, most of the time when he kills somebody in this movie, he puts their clothes on. Like he disguises himself, and even though disguises really don't work all that well, it is really nice to see him attempting to be a secret agent.
My favorite disguise is when he's hiding from the other knife throwing guy
in the gorilla suit.
And yeah, in the gorilla suit.
In the gorilla suit.
It does not make any sense how he gets in and out of the gorilla suit so fast.
No, it doesn't. But I'm willing to give that a pass because the filmmakers, I know, they had to want Bond to fight them in that gorilla costume. They had to.
I would have loved to have seen that.
But they were like, you know what? Let's not ruin this entire movie. We don't have to have Bond saying "Together ape strong" and fighting these guys in an ape costume.
In a Matt Reeves movie.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was just making fun of Planet of the Apes.
I said earlier how this movie does the henchmen really well. I was lumping the twins into that too. Like I like them as henchmen. That's a really cool thing. The whole knife throwing, that's kind of their gimmick. I like that. So
I'm gonna tell you something though. That one guy says, "This is for my brother," and he throws the knife at him, and then Bond pulls it and says, he throws it at him and kills him, and he says, "And that was for 009." I always thought that was like one of the most badass quotes ever.
That's kind of like that's another example of how Roger Moore can pull off these cold lines.
Yeah, he can do cold stuff.
It's my favorite kill in the movie.
Mine too. I think so. Yeah, I do. I like that. Now I also like the kill where Bond is interrogating Orlov and he turns around and that other Soviet guy opens the door and he just nails him between the eyes.
That was pretty rough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And look, we've seen Roger Moore's Bond killed faceless henchmen and stuff throughout this entire series up until this point. But for some reason, that kill, and there's a couple of kills in this movie in particular that just like really start, they really stand out and hammer home the fact that, like, yeah, this Bond kind of is a little goofy and says one-liners, but he's straight up assassinating people in this movie.
And I will say, like, I really like when Bond's driving the Mercedes, like, and he does the, like, hold up. Whenever he gets the car and it's going on the railroad tracks.
Oh, where he gets his tires blown out?
Yes.
Orlov's car?
Yeah, he gets the tires blown out and he drifts and gets attached, it just falls onto the tracks. I thought that was the coolest fucking thing when I was a kid.
Me too.
Like that even though I didn't watch this movie a lot, I always, for whatever reason, when I was playing with my toy Bond cars in the floor, that was one of the scenarios that I imagined. That was a really cool scene.
Yeah.
So, guys, I thought him driving Orlov's car was super dumb. I'm like, this is a lame car. If this is the car chase for this movie, I thought,
Yeah.
It is lame that he's not driving a cool car. And then he turned onto them railroad tracks. And then I'm like, oh my God, I love this.
And the Bond theme starts playing. Yeah.
I thought it was so cool. I was like, this is giving me like Back to the Future vibes. Like, I love when cars are on railroad tracks. It's just like, it's solidified. Do what, Jonathan?
Is it the Mercedes or the Alfa Romeo later that he does the two wheels?
It's the same car that he gets on two wheels.
Oh,
that's the same car that White Guy gets on the.
Okay, I thought it was a Mercedes. Yeah, this is one of the 3 Bond movies where he does the two wheels thing.
Yeah, and like, I didn't like the two wheels thing. I thought the car was lame. Obviously, it's not Bond's car. I thought we were going to get a lame chase sequence with it. But when he hit them railroad tracks, dog, I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And then he uses the umbrella and he holds the gas down. And then the other train smacks the car. And you see the other car flying through the air. And by the way,
dude, it smacks it so hard the motor comes out.
Yeah, like there's no drivetrain. That was what I was about to say. Like you can see there's no drivetrain in the car.
Yeah. I'm willing to forgive that though. Like that, this whole sequence is.
Well, it's like in Goldfinger, there was no drivetrain in the cars that crushed.
Right.
So, it's just cost saving measures. Like I don't mind it at all.
Well, whatever they used, whatever method they used to launch it, like I'm sure they could get a more impressive launch had removing weight. So, I don't mind it whatsoever.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I do too. It's the same effect either way.
What about?
But before we, sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, before we get too far, I know this set piece kind of lasts for a while, but I just want to say, like, this is where this movie has a really cool, like, Cold War vibe to me. Like, I'm getting GoldenEye vibes, and to speak to that point a little further, when I was a kid watching this movie, of course I didn't know how to turn subtitles on, and I didn't really care. So I thought they were calling this guy Oramov. I thought it was the same character from GoldenEye. Also, I was an idiot as a kid, but
Caleb,
but I do like the Cold War vibe that this part gives me. But
I like how the movie dates itself and calls the town. Was it Karl Marx?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I like that. It lets you know it's definitely older.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Caleb. If you had more,
I was done. I was just gonna kind of catch us back up to where we were. I think Bond climbs through the moonroof of the car and narrowly avoids the oncoming train. And real quick, so why does that guy switch the tracks? You think? Is he
I'm sure
helping?
he was working. I'm sure he was working for Orlov to make sure the train got make sure the train got to where it was going.
Well, no, he switches the tracks for Bond. Remember?
Well, I assumed he was trying to keep him from following it.
Okay. Yeah,
Like,
okay, yeah.
Because there was another train coming.
So,
right. Okay, sorry.
So speaking of Orlov, what do y'all think about him?
I think he's a bitch.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, he's a bitch, but
Oh,
but I like him. There was a scene that we forgot to mention. It's where he and Gogol are in that meeting with all those other Russian authoritative figures, all speaking English for some reason.
I mean,
for the viewers,
that's awful kind of them. But from that scene, like you really get the vibe that this guy is kind of out there. He's an extremist.
He's nuts because nobody else
nuts.
is even thinking about that. It's like this.
Yeah, like he brings that up and starts explaining it, and I just imagine if they were to cut back to everybody else, they're like, "Are you hearing this shit?"
You know, Gogol's like he brought the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I like him. I like all the villains in this movie. I like Kamal Khan. I like his right hand man.
Yeah,
there's a
good cast of villains here.
Yeah, they're all great. That's why I was saying earlier we don't need an overarching villain in this movie because you've got these 3 or 4 villains that I think it makes for a better opposition.
So
it definitely builds the pressure too.
Yeah,
like you're like, what is going to happen?
So one thing I like about Octopussy is there's a few scenes here that you don't ever really see Bond do. Like whenever he's like running down the road trying to thumb for a ride, and a bunch of teenagers pull up to him, and he's like, "All right," and then they just drive off. Like you never see stuff like that. And then
does he flip them off?
What
does he flip those kids off?
Does he
when they drive off? I don't know. It cuts really quick, but it looks like he's doing this, and then it cuts.
And then remember he gets picked up by those like 2 like German people.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he gets to a phone, and that lady won't let him get it, so he just steals her car. So this is like 3 things we just never see happen to Bond. One, he's playing GTA. One, he's in a car with 2 drunk Germans, and the other one, he's having teenagers make fun of him.
Yeah.
Like he was
not having a good day.
No,
like, you could tell he was having a terrible day.
Yeah.
And how out of all those German cars did he actually steal like the one that actually looked? I mean, I'm not saying Alfa Romeo's German. I don't know what kind of car it was, but he's in Germany, and there's a bunch of foreign cars. He steals the one that looks cool and performs well. That's a pretty cool car. I would drive it.
Yeah. Well, like,
dude,
it's supposed to be like actually a really good car. I've read reviews on it.
I believe it because it was super cool.
Yeah, it is. I want to talk about that car, and I want to bring this up and for your eyes only, dude. Rockstar, it's like they modeled all the cars in GTA 3 and GTA Vice City after the cars in these 2 Bond movies.
Yes.
But with that being said, yes, that is a cool looking car. One more thing. We forgot all about the most dangerous game.
Yes.
Soon.
Yes. Do you remember reading that story in high school?
I do.
I do too.
Yeah.
I always liked it.
I don't think we even talked about Bond sneaking around the that palace, did we? Where he uses the fountain pen to melt the bars.
Yeah. We just all over the place on this one, dude.
We are. But if you want to move on, there's just a couple of things I want to say about that I want to touch on. The gadgets in this movie are really cool. Like they're practical.
I love his watch.
I love the watch. I love the little microphone in the Fabergé egg. Everything has a purpose. And and it's not all like flashy, gimmicky crap. um, and I really like how Bond sort of finds it. He's sort of backed into a corner, and he has to go into that cooler and hide with the dead bodies. And some time passes, and I want to say it's like maybe it's like the next day, and those guys are bagging up the dead bodies, and Bond gets the idea. Like, this is, maybe y'all don't look at it this way, but I was like, man, this is kind of dark. Bond's having to take this dead body out of this bag and then get in it after, you know, and
it smells.
what's that?
It's got a smell.
It's just the idea is just so gross to me. But anyway, you got to do what you got to do. He's got to get out of there. And then when they stop the Jeep and they start unloading the bodies, he goes, whoa! And I thought that was fucking hilarious. I laughed so hard.
It is great.
Yeah. And then I was like, and then Bond runs off, and I was like, that was really stupid. Why did you not steal the Jeep?
Yeah.
Okay. So before we talk about the Tarzan scene and all that, let's go back to Bond being in his hotel room. Not his hotel room. He's in the palace. The moon palace, what's it called? The Monsoon Palace.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about where it's where he eats dinner with Kamal?
Right, he's in Kamal's palace, held captive. Mm. So, like, his clothes are in the casino, right? So they bring him clothes to change into for dinner. After dinner, Bond puts on safari gear. Like, where did he get these clothes?
I just assume it's just something that they laid out for him because they were like, I mean, if I had this guy prisoner, I wouldn't give a shit. I'd be like, yeah, he can wear the same tuxedo he had at dinner. I don't care. But I just took it as like just some clothes that they had lying around for him to wear.
Like, he's got dressed up like he was going on safari with them, and then he sneaks out.
And that might have been
clothes come from.
That might have been their intention.
Maybe.
I want to talk about that goat head. That is the nastiest looking thing I've seen in this series so far. And Kamal just pops the eyeball out. And, dude, that made me so uncomfortable. I hated that.
I didn't like it.
Apparently, the eyeball is made out of marzipan, if that makes you feel any better. But
a little bit. I'm never going to eat marzipan now.
But it looked realistic enough for me to be really grossed out. And I think Bond was kind of sharing the same feeling as me because he's like, it's funny when I'm being stared at, I'll lose my appetite.
It's nasty.
Yeah, it's very nasty. Is there anything else y'all want to touch on before we get to the most, or what is the name of the story? The Most Dangerous Game? Is that what this is pulling from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Him going through I will say this: this movie showed me what a leech was whenever I was a kid. I never even knew what a leech was until I saw this movie.
We used to go to like Burnt Church. Are you familiar with that area, Jonathan?
I lived there for most of my life.
Did you ever go swimming in the creek down there? Yeah, we did too. And anytime we would go, I would remember this scene and think, oh man, I'm gonna get leeches on me. Yep. This movie made me terrified of leeches. I really wish that this scene would have leaned into the perilous situations a little more, like, because at the end when Bond is running toward that tourist boat, he's like all sweaty and nasty and I mean, you could tell he just had a rough go of it, and I really wish they would have leaned into that a little more. But with the way it's fine the way it is. Like, I really like that we're getting to see Bond in these situations and not playing it off like he usually does in the previous movies. I just think that's really refreshing.
Yeah.
I liked when he untied the straps on the bottom of the elephant and dude rolled over. I thought that was hilarious.
Yes. So, where were we at?
We were almost to where they show up at the circus, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
But man, we got to talk about them fighting on the train though. Like that whole sequence, the stunts, like it's just so well done. And like I kind of touched on earlier, that stunt man that got injured. He was hanging on the side. I guess it was when they were getting that shot of him hanging on the side of the train.
yeah.
And apparently they didn't. They went past where they had already scouted, to make sure that it was safe to shoot. And the stunt man got pretty much just ran into a pylon and got seriously injured. So it's easy to take for granted the work that goes into some of these stunts.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I think at the least we can do is point that stuff out, because I mean, here we are sitting here talking about it and enjoying it.
Yeah, most definitely.
And man, that's a ton of work, especially back then. Cause, yeah, they had rear projection, but like you got to give them props for actually doing, like when they do these stunts to get those wide shots, they're doing that stuff for real.
Yes.
So it's amazing. Like, yeah,
I agree.
I don't know what else to say. Like, it's just really cool to me.
It's just cool that during that time period that they actually tried to do as much of this on location and in motion as they could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and it looks great.
Yeah,
like
it really does.
You're not going to get a better looking shot doing it any other way.
Like Roger Moore in this movie, I think looks good. In the next movie, he does not look good. I don't know what. Like it's like I think he got a facelift after this movie.
You think that's what it is?
That's what I've heard. And then by the time he's going to beat to a kill, he just looks so like different. Like, but
yeah, I said in Fear Eyes Only that he had obviously aged some at this point. That's not a dig at him. And I was gonna say that he doesn't look much different here.
yeah.
Like, but then you go to A View to a Kill, like you said, and it's a pretty big difference.
Yeah. So whenever we're at this, whenever he gets to the circus, he changes into a clown costume. So I think this movie is by far the movie that has the most disguises. We don't even usually see Bond in disguises. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might, have like an alias or something, like a name he's going, like a cover name. But usually we don't see him like doing stuff like this. This is like Hitman, like, getting into y'all ever play the Hitman games?
Yeah, I thought the exact same. I thought the exact same thing. Well, the stakes are high here. Like, he's actually putting in some effort, and also Q is coming for his job, so he has got to really try.
He's like, if you guys kill me, Q's just gonna come at you even harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this whole circus scene, I really think it's acted well. Just the way Roger's like, damn it, man, I'm, like I'm serious.
He's stressed.
Yeah, like you can tell, like it's like, well, if I don't do this, for one, I'm gonna die. Two, a bunch of other people's gonna die. Three, World War III is gonna start. You know what I mean? Like it's probably one of the peak moments of Bond's life. You know what I mean? Like that time that I. That's that time that I, stopped World War III from happening. Like
that's that time I saved the circus.
Yeah.
If you look at it, if you think about it from this perspective, like he's literally everybody is up against him at this point.
Yeah.
He has gotten to the people that like normally in any other situation would be like, yeah, let's stop a bomb from blowing up. They're like, they literally. You can't take this seriously enough to stop all these people from dying. He's just exasperated.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I feel for him.
So, but yeah, just just to talk about what we were saying, really stressful situation. And finally, Octopussy comes in and shoots the lock. And so Bond is able to defuse the bomb. So it's at this moment Octopussy truly knows, well, Kamal Khan is not on my side. And I want to say this. We didn't talk about it earlier, but General Gogol, this is like probably my favorite General Gogol movie. Because, General Gogol's men shoot Orlov on General Gogol's orders. And he goes up to him and he says, "You're a disgrace to the uniform." Just, how, like, I don't know, Gogol's big into that stuff right there. So just.
I thought it was cold. I thought it was the second coldest kill in the movie.
And, so Gogol says that to him. And Gogol and Orlov's like, "Well, yeah, I might be a disgrace, but I'm going to be the hero of the Soviet Union tomorrow." But anyway, so Octopussy finds out Kamal Khan's actually really a bad guy and was basically trying to kill her right then. So this leads to the hot air balloon invasion of the castle. We get all of Octopussy's, gymnastic women jumping over the wall and doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
And those swings suspended from the clouds, I guess.
Yeah, like it was
the cloud suspended from the walls because that was clearly a set.
Yeah. I like this whole scene. I like how they're incorporating their trapeze skills and infiltrating and battling the baddies. It's over the top, but I enjoyed it.
I like that scene where it's like Bond and Q's in the hot air balloon, and Bond's like, you sure you know how to drive this thing or whatever? And Q's like, "Well, it runs on hot air," and Bond's like, "Oh, you do know how."
I like how they look. They're like looking at some security footage or like some live camera feed, and I was thinking, "Oh, come on, where's the camera?" And then it shows the camera's like, "All right, you win this one, movie."
I love that it was on his watch.
Oh, I think it was on his watch.
That was so cool for the
yeah.
What about whenever Q gets out of the hot air balloon and all the women are around and Q's like, "Not now, not now. Maybe later, perhaps."
Maybe later. I was like, Bond's rubbing off on Q, man, because he would. at least with one of them.
Yeah.
One.
But so, what do y'all think about Kamal Khan?
I thought he was a fairly menacing villain. He just doesn't really care about finishing the job, I don't think.
Well, like Kamal Khan is so really, this movie does have two main villains. Kamal Khan is in it for he wants all this, art and, all this fancy stuff. Orlov basically wants to take over all of Europe. They have radically different ideas, but I love Kamal Khan. I think he's a very underrated villain. Well, just the way he talks throughout the movie. I love that scene where he's like, "Octupussy, Octupussy." I just love the way
I love his screen presence.
Yeah.
Whenever he's on screen, he doesn't exactly like exude villain vibes, but I don't know. I just like when he's on screen.
I agree. You've described him pretty good, Caleb. Like, I'm gonna shut up now.
So basically, the film winds up. They're on a plane. Well, Bond is like on the side of the plane, and Kamal Khan tells Gobinda to get out on the plane.
Out there.
Yeah, just imagine that. Imagine
This is where I would quit my job.
I'd be like, dude, go to hell.
Right, yeah.
Damn plane.
I'll see you in hell. I don't remember what movie that was in, but it was fine. What was it?
I like how he refers to Kamal as your excellence, and after about the third or fourth time he says that, I'm like, what is it? What has he done?
He was an exiled Afghan prince.
Yeah, but like, okay, I guess, but he just doesn't seem very excellent to me, I guess.
Wasn't that I'll See You in Hell? Wasn't that Han Solo?
Yes.
Okay. All right. My bad. I should have remembered that better.
I love this whole sequence. This is another. I won't spend forever on it, but like just them fighting outside of the plane or Bond hanging on. This movie walked so Tom Cruise could run in whichever in every movie. In every movie. No, but like where he's hanging on to the side of the plane.
That was great.
Yeah, it was great in that movie, but like here, like they were the first ones to do it. Like they're doing this shit for real too, Tom Cruise, and they're not Scientologists. I'm just kidding.
They could be. We don't know. Probably not.
Hey, don't alienate our Scientologist fan base.
Yeah, no, that's I have no qualms with Scientology, but
I think it's kind of goofy, honestly.
yeah, it's stupid. But anyway,
I too believed aliens pooped eggs in volcanoes.
I did not mean for this to turn into a theology discussion, but I just wanted to say, like, you see Tom Cruise doing this stuff. I said I wasn't going to spend forever on this, but it's like this series was doing it first, and nobody seems to talk about it. Like, that's a real guy hanging onto the top of that plane. So
it's really insane. Just the fact that they would go to these lengths back then. Like, it looks superb. Like,
there was some coked up dude in the writer room going, dude, you know what would be awesome? Let's have this guy hang onto the top of the plane. Yeah. And then, and then the producers are like, they're coked up too. They're like, yeah, write it down.
Roger Moore comes in. He's like, oh, bother.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm done.
But pretty much. So Gobinda dies. Kamal Khan ends up flying a plane into a rock, and Bond and Octopussy escape. And the last scene is Bond and Octopussy chilling, laying up in bed together.
In, out, in.
Bro, what?
I like how. Go ahead.
No, I'll just tell you guys later.
I like how Bond in this movie gets dirty. Like, he gets his hands dirty. He gets beat up. And that's really rare.
He does the heavy lifting for 3/4 of this movie.
Well, it's just nice to see, like, he's not invincible. He's not a superhero like he's been in the last few movies.
It's fair. You're right. He has been doing things really easily the past couple movies.
Well, it's like John brought up during the circus scene. He's distressed. He's not making wisecracks and saying one-liners. It's like he finally realizes that, like, this shit's real.
Like
it's going to explode in 30 seconds.
There's a bomb in there, man. Yeah, where else would a bomb be? Like, oh, dude, I want to slap that guy.
What? I mean, just want a jackass. You know what I mean?
this clown get up so great.
When he's interrogating Orlov, like, I don't know, it just stuck out to me. It was so. It was. I want to say it was odd, but it was fitting. I mean, Roger Moore's playing his part like, Bond is like, so you don't give a damn about all the innocent people that are gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing it really, like, earnestly. I thought that was just really nice to see.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say about this movie, Bond does not use a Walther PPK in this movie.
What gun was that he was shooting with?
He uses a Walther P5 is what it is. And it's the same gun that Sean Connery uses in Never Say Never Again, which came out the same year. So
How did that happen?
That's got to be a coincidence.
it's
There's
pretty
no.
wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the guys at Walter are like, hey, listen, I'm gonna let you guys in on the ground floor. We got a new gun. You guys should put it in your movie. And then like
They went to the
signed a contract.
studio.
And they did it to both of them.
Yeah.
Like they're sitting over just counting that money.
But
That's not a bad theory.
Maybe.
so final words on Octopussy.
Caleb, you go first.
We talk about how For Your Eyes Only was such a departure from Moonraker and how it was gritty. And I asked Jonathan last episode, I was like, would you say that Octopussy is more in line with the grittiness of For Your Eyes Only, or maybe more in line with the fantastical of The Spy Who Loved Me? And he was like, we'll see. Man, I think this is as close as this series has gotten so far of sort of marrying those two elements,
Yes.
the grittiness with the fantastical.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a perfect mesh of those two things, but it's really close.
There's two 80s Bond movies that I think really they do a good job of doing what you're talking about. And they're very complex movies. It's this one and it's The Living Daylights.
Yep. I figured you were going to say The Living Daylights too. But
go ahead.
Well, just with that being said, it's one of my favorite Bond movies now. I never thought I'd say that, but dude, I gotta put this up there with like, The Spy Who Loved Me and Goldfinger. I loved every bit of it, and I love the Cold War themes. I love that the plot has actually got a little complexity to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a great Bond movie.
It is a great Bond movie, most definitely.
So my favorite parts of this movie are like a lot of the subtle things in it. Like I really like how the movie comes together as a whole, but it's really like the individual pieces that stick out to me throughout the movie. Like I love when they're at the auction house. I love when they're bidding on the egg, and then I love whenever he meets Octopussy for the first time and they talk about her father. Like though the way they incorporated those bits into this movie really hit home for me. And then the last half of the movie, we have Bond just in this completely frazzled state. Like he has no time to think about anything he's doing, man.
It's a race. It's a race against the clock.
It's a race against the clock. He's hanging on top of trains. He's underneath trains. He's wearing gorilla suits and then changing out of them without.
He doesn't even know. He can't even decide what he wants to wear to the circus.
He does 15 costume changes, all within like the final act of a film, and I'm not taken out of it at all. Like this movie is not. I'm getting sick of ranking these movies because I've just decided that I love James Bond movies, and I'm not going to give them a fair rating.
Yeah, dude. That's why I say all the time. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Like,
yeah.
You ask me tomorrow, and Diamonds Are Forever might be my favorite. But okay, no, not that one. But
you like you're about to vomit a little.
But
I'm kidding.
But you know what I mean. Like it's like, man, I can't list these. I can't give you a rank list. I just know that this is a good Bond movie among all the other ones that I consider good, and Diamonds Are Forever is a trash can fire. But I still enjoy it.
It is enjoyable sometimes if you're high.
Because when you're cold, a trash can fire is better than no fire.
That's right.
So this being Roger's penultimate film, like if you look at Roger's tenure as Bond, like the number of good movies to bad movie ratio, you kind of like have more good Roger movies than you have more good Sean movies.
So what are we classifying? Okay, so what are we classifying a bad Sean Connery and a bad Roger Moore movie? Okay, so are we saying Moonraker is a bad Roger Moore movie?
Okay, so
Because it's got to be the ones we've watched. Like,
I'm not inherently saying it's a bad movie. I'm just inherently saying the amount of Roger Moore movies I would jump to rewatch before I rewatch Sean Connery's movies. If you average those movies out in a good to bad ratio, Sean gets a lower grade than Roger for like overall quality, if that makes sense.
okay.
It's not acting, it's not who played it better. It's like if you average out, if you had a pizza and like who had the most stuff you wanted to eat off that pizza, Roger would have more of the stuff I wanted to eat. Even though I like Sean as Bond more. Caleb's like, what are you talking about?
I'm fucking with you, dude. No, I got you.
Okay, I was like, am I not coming across very clear?
No, dude, I just wanted to fuck with you. No, I get it.
And like, it's no dig against Sean because I love Sean. I have absolutely no idea how I'm gonna rate like these Bonds to get like The Living Daylights is my favorite Bond movie, but Tim's not my favorite Bond. So like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, I completely understand, Colton. I mean, I go through the same troubles myself sometimes. But anyway, if I had to say anything about Octopussy, I love it. Yeah, I would say it would definitely be in my top 10 Bond movies. I don't know if about top 5. Like there are quite a minute.
Boy, it's close.
Quite a few.
God, it's close, man.
It is close. But it is a good movie, and yeah, it's great. I love it. It's I think this is the most adventure-y Bond movie there is.
It's really adventure-y. You're right.
That being said, anything left to say, boys?
Go watch Octopussy, man. Like, you're gonna be happy. If you can't watch this movie and then get done and be mad. Like, you're not wasting your time. Like, go watch it. You'll like it.
Yes, definitely go watch it. And the next time we've got A View to a Kill coming up. And Colton, what about my dad?
Man, your dad clowned on me so hard. Do what?
What about my dad clowning on
What'd you say?
What happened?
Man, he clowned on me so hard. Jonathan sent me a picture. It was Jonathan's dad saying, "How did Colton not know A View to a Kill was a Bond song?"
Oh.
So, like, that's one of the low points of my life, man. Like, I have listened to that song for years.
I just thought it was funny. He said that, and I was like, I'm screenshotting this.
It's like, man, next time your dad sees me, he's gonna be like, "There's that boy that just ain't right in the head."
Didn't know Duran did the song.
That boy ain't right.
Oh, Barbara.
But I guess the last thing I want to say is go with God.
Fuck con Dios.
But yeah, guys, next time when we're on, we'll see James Bond go up against Christopher Walken and Grace Jones in what might be the weirdest. I really think this is probably the weirdest Bond movie there is. This next one, it is very.
I was thinking. I was thinking I was gonna this by y'all. How about I just don't watch this one?
You gotta watch it, man.
Because I don't want to, but I just just come on and listen to y'all talk about it. All right, fine, I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
I just want to know if he's gonna hit anybody in the face with a soldering iron.
I tell you what, I'm gonna watch Joe Dirt. Y'all watch A View to a Kill.
Okay, so look, I still have no recollection of this film, and you, Caleb, you seem like it's gonna be a terrible movie. Jonathan over here, he's like, it's a pretty good movie. It ain't. It's weird.
I mean, I'm not gonna.
Movie.
Okay, like I mean, it is what it is. I guess I might like it more than the regular Bond fan it does, but I would definitely say it is on the lower end of the.
I swear to God, Dude, every time I say it, I mean, you can go back and watch every one of these shows, and you'll find me saying, "Oh, the next Bond movie sucks," and then literally like clockwork, I come on and like the first thing I say, that was a lot better than I thought, and and like I just don't think that's gonna happen with this one. I really don't.
It might. Who knows?
Spoilers. Next week, Caleb's going to walk in with a View to a Kill shirt on.
Next week, you're just gonna see me hanging from the sit. No, I'm just kidding.
Dark in here.
I will be straight with
joking.
you. I don't mind a View to a Kill. I really don't. Like but I would say it's definitely one of the weaker ones. But we're gonna watch it again and we're gonna see how we feel. Okay. And Colton, this is your first time ever watching it, so
I'm getting ready to dance into the fire.
Guys, it's crazy to think that a few months ago we started this and we're almost done with the Moore era. You know,
it's nuts, man. Like I'm loving this journey with you guys. Like each week I love these movies more and more. Like I have low expectations with some of these, and some of them have high expectations. And each time I'm surprised. So
if I don't get anything else from this experience, I want to say that I'm glad that y'all invited me on and also invited me to be a host, because it's forced me to go back and reevaluate these movies, and I found that I enjoy a lot of these movies that I thought I didn't like before, and I've said this from the very beginning. Every Bond movie, even if you hate it, has got good moments, and that's how I felt about a lot of these movies, especially in the Roger Moore era. But as I go back and rewatch them, I'm like, these are actually pretty good Bond movies.
Yeah, that's the way I was with The Man with the Golden Gun. Like in this watch along, I've never liked it as much as I did this time. Like,
guys, I love that movie.
But see, I always viewed that as one of the weakest ones. Honestly,
I thought it was really fun. Like it wasn't great, but like if I could say anything about Roger so far, is that I find Roger really endearing.
Roger's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. I guess we'll just go ahead and end it, because I feel like we were about to start reviewing A View to a Kill. Or I was, at least. I was going to keep on going.
Let's go ahead. Let's just get it over with that way.
Do A View to a Kill in 1 week.
Let's just get it over with, and that way we can go right into the Living Daylights next weekend.
Spoiler alert. I'm looking forward to the Living Daylights. That is one of my all-time favorite, like, top 3 Bond movies. So let's get through A View to a Kill. That really makes it sound bad. Let's watch and enjoy A View to a Kill, okay?
Well, I will say, guys, it's been a good chat with you guys this week. I'm looking forward to View to a Kill. Yeah. I am going to watch this movie and enjoy it. I'm going to try my damnedest to love this movie. That's my goal.
All right, guys.
I'm going to watch it on mute. That way.
Well, all right, guys. It's been good. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Autobots, roll out.
Later.
Thank you for joining us on For Your Ears Only, a Bondcast, episode 13, Octopussy.